Hey everyone! Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be talking about Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. Now I literally just finished this morning, so it is fresh in my mind, essentially. And so I've read some of Jay Kristoff before. I read Illuminate, which he did with Amy Kaufman, and he's an Australian author, so I had high hopes. I had such high hopes, and this teaches me to never have high hopes again, because they just get squashed, so I was better off with Scythe when I had no high hopes. Anyway, into the synopsis. Mia Corvair is only 10 years old when she's given her first lesson in death. Destined to destroy enemies, the child raised in shadows made a promise on the day she lost everything, to avenge herself on those that shattered her world. But the chance to strike against such powerful enemies will be fleeting, and Mia must become a weapon without equal. Before she seeks vengeance, she must seek training among the infamous assassins of the Red Church of Itria. Inside the church's halls, Mia must prove herself against the deadliest of opponents and survive the tutelage of murderers, liars, and demons at the heart of a murder cult. The church is no ordinary school, but Mia is no ordinary student. Doesn't that sound exciting? Doesn't it just? Oh. I'll go my pros first. You all want to hear something positive to start with. I liked the end notes when they were short little sentences. That's all I'll say on them for now. And they were little ones. It's a fun way to write a novel. I did enjoy the depth he put into the world building. There was a lot of history. I like history. And there was like a lot of geography, you know. He put work into it. I'll give him that. Yeah. I talked about this with the Cheshire Cat. I talked about this with AI. I loved Mr. Kindly. I love his banter with Mia. I loved how sassy he was and his characterization, and how he was like... He liked fear. He did not like it when Mia was not scared. And I think it's a little bit scary, and I like that. I love him. I was interested in Mia's powers and what they could do. I thought that was pretty cool. Like, you know, with the other powers, they're like, it has an effect. When you use them, it makes this person ugly and this person want blood. And it said, like, they'll take her back to the shadow or something, but it's not having any immediate effects, so she's just powerful with no repercussions. And I don't think it was used to its full potential at the end, because we saw its full potential once, and I think it was not used to its full potential later on. Mia wasn't an okay character. She wasn't fantastic, but she was okay. I was interested in her history and her motives, though no matter how basic her motives were. I want to murder the person that murdered my family. Basic, we know. That's every novel. But you know what? It's fine. She was flawed, and I liked that, and she was a bit of a bitch, and I liked that, so good for her, though. She still had morals, which is like, yeah, bullshit, whatever. Okay, morals my ass. I loved the twist at the end. I'm not going to go into spoilers and say what it was, but I loved it. I did not see it coming at all, and it made that person's characterization so much better. Like, I already liked that character. Just made it better. I love depth. Now, into my cons. I talked briefly about the end notes, didn't I? They get old really quick. At the start you're like, oh, this is fun. This is cute. They get old so quickly. Can this fly? Fuck off. Why are you back? Anyway, yeah, they get old really quick because it takes you out of the story every single time. And it was fine when it was like a sentence of him going, the narrator, like commenting something. But when he just used it to use these huge info dumps, I'm like, this is just lazy. You couldn't find a better way to work this into the story, so you wrote it in endnotes. And by the halfway through the novel, I was just skipping over them. I didn't bother reading them because it took you out of the action. You put them in when someone's like running for their life and you're like, oh, I'm gonna read about the history. No! It's jarring and it doesn't flow. for the first however many chapters, what he did was flashback, present for every new chapter. And I hated it. I'm already iffy about flashbacks, so I think I've written all myself. Doesn't matter. He used it too much, and it was incredibly jarring, and he used it during moments of actions as well. He's like, oh, something's happening? A flashback! No! Holy shit. And it was like that for every chapter until he got to the point he wanted to stop. I was like, it doesn't flow. Your novel doesn't flow. What is it with men and writing graphic sex scenes between minors? 16-year-olds. These are 16-year-olds, and he writes graphic sex scenes. Not even Fade to Black. Fade to Black would be like, okay, and coming of age novels, but no, it was graphic. And the novel? The novel wouldn't have suffered if they were aged up 2 years. If they were 18. The novel, it makes no difference their age. I stand by that. I don't think it would have mattered. But, you know what? It's fine. It's fine. It just made me uncomfy. I'm only a year older than these people, but it still made me uncomfortable that he was writing about 16-year-olds that way. Like, obviously 16-year-olds have sex, but you don't, as an adult man, you don't write that in depth. In graphic detail. This book would be, how many pages is it? 460 about. This book would be 200 pages if he took out every useless, confusing metaphor in it. He loves them. He's insane. He literally just put metaphors into sound smile, and it was so dumb. I skimmed through a bunch of metaphors, so I don't remember many of them, because as soon as I saw it look like that, I was like, no, skim. I don't want to read it. I did not care for Trick and Mia at all. I'm not sure if it's because they actually weren't written that well, or because I'd already been informed that there are lesbians in the second book. Either way, I wasn't interested at all. Didn't feel anything, so. Now, Mia's body was talked about in such a gross way. Like, it wasn't like oh, I'm insecure about myself, that sucks. Which I don't think we should put in fantasy novels, because you're teaching girls to hate themselves, no offense. But it was written through the male gaze as well, so I didn't really care about her tits. And people only cared when she was pretty. I think it was gross. I don't think you should be talking about a 16-year-old girl's breasts as a man writing this book. It was weird, and I felt uncomfortable reading it. I also don't think that we should be having... I know it's realistic to have a beauty standard in fantasy novels, but I don't like it, and I don't think we should be including body issues in fantasy novels, because you're going to teach young girls reading them that, like, oh, even in this fantasy world, I should hate myself. But that's just my opinion. I have a lot. Anyway, overall, this book wasn't particularly memorable. The plot was okay. Like, I've read it, and this is a fairly short review, because I didn't really care about it that much. It hasn't stuck in my brain. So, God, I just want nice Australian authors. Amy Kaufman. Australian. Thank you. I'm still gonna read the sequel, because I own it, and I have questions that I want answered, so I will read it. But yeah, so I give... Who the fuck calls our landline? What did I give this? 3 out of 5? I think I gave this 3 out of 5 stars, because I am interested in the sequel. I liked a lot of the characters. So yes, 3 out of 5 stars for this bad boy. Thank you all so much for watching my review. Check out some of my other reviews while you're at it. My socials are in the description for you to follow, and let me know if there's anything else you want me to do, any content you want me to make, and any books you want me to review. Thank you so much. Peace out.